Now, if you're a student, a pupil, or someone who has just gone through school, I could actually make a very good prediction that your relationship with tests or testing or exams is not the best. Whether you have performed well at them or poorly, they probably are something that give you stress, and sometimes it's really hard to see the good that they may have. But maybe that relationship can change because you can bring that into your personal studying to see actually how that could help you. And I think that is something that you should be very eager to know. And if you are interested in that, then just stick around. Hello, everyone. Now, if you're new here, hi, my name is Simon. I'm a final year medical student at the University of Zambia. And on this channel, I share basic learning strategies that can make you efficient at your learning for your academics, professional life, and also for your skill acquisition. I also share basic productivity tips, and in addition to that, I share key takeaways that I get from some of the books that I read. With all of that said, let's get back to the topic for today. Now, for those who have read the book How We Learn by Stanislas Dehaene, you will realize that one of the fundamental pillars to effective learning is error feedback. I will explain what error feedback is and how it fits into the whole concept of testing, and why testing is actually one of the best, very, very good studying techniques that you can actually use to get the best out of your learning experiences. So now, error feedback is definitely what it sounds like. It is you getting feedback about your errors. Now, an error can only be made if a person has tried to do something, and that is exactly what testing is. So now, what are tests and what are exams to your examiners? Tests and exams to your examiners are tools for them to assess your level of competence. But for you, tests are an opportunity for you to make errors so that you can use those errors, give yourself feedback, so that in your next performance, which is your testing, you are not going to make those errors. That is the reason as to why error feedback is a very, very important pillar of learning. Now, error feedback is actually happening even on a subconscious level whenever you are learning anything. And so this is something that you can explore further, but I'm going to limit it to the application of the technique so that you can get exactly what I'm trying to say. Now, just like I had mentioned, for you, testing is no longer about just assessing competence, but it is an opportunity for you to make errors. But one of the other things which I'll just mention as a by the way is that testing works very well because it incorporates another principle which I believe if you're a person who is interested in learning efficiency, you would have heard. It's active recall. So the ability, or rather the activity of you trying to retrieve actively information from your memory that you had earlier studied is a very, very important thing that helps you to actually retain that information, because it consolidates and it strengthens your memories, and it actually changes your memories into even stronger mental models that can be retained for a longer period of time. However, the things which I want to exploit now is that testing gives you an opportunity to make errors. Now, even from the time that your examiners or at your school, whenever you are given a test, there is a type of feedback that is going to be given to you. I'm going to tell you 3 types of feedbacks, and you can actually even find these in the book Ultra Learning by Scott Young. One of the feedbacks is the outcome feedback. So the outcome feedback is if you have tried to do something, is it have you passed, have you failed, and how good or how worse. So is it a D, is it an E, and if you have passed, is it an A plus, B, whatever. So that is basically just an outcome. It just tells you how well you have done. So outcome is one, it's good, but as a starting point. But this is the one that has traumatized a lot of people, because when you are tested and you are given your outcome that you have failed, there is a tendency to personalize this and call yourself a failure, which is not necessarily the thing. Listen, you can learn. It's just that sometimes you may not be able to have the specific techniques to be able to learn effectively. And so some things may be harder for you to learn. That is the reason as to why when you're tested, they discover a lot of errors. And when you're given this fail, for them, it is a sign that you're not yet competent, and they may try to help you in the best way possible. But you can actually use this for yourself. Before you wait for the examiners to test you, why not test yourself? And after you have seen that you have passed or you have failed, I'm interested in the failed, or if you have passed, but definitely there are some mistakes or some errors. You give yourself the second level of feedback, and that level of feedback is the information feedback. The information feedback is, remember, if you have tried something and you have made the error, there must be information about that error. What exactly did you do wrong? Let's say, for example, you are solving a mathematical problem. Is it that you were unable to change the subject or the formula? Is it that you did know a specific rule? Did you not know the formula? There are those specific information about the error. And I would love you to go deeply into this. This may look very simple, but really reflect. If you try to do something and you fail, ask yourself constant questions and reflect. Why did you fail before you actually check the answer? Because most of the times someone will just test themselves and then check the answer and just say, oh, yeah, that's the reason. I'm sure I'll get it next time. You have not corrected the fundamental errors in your mental models. And so if you're given another question, maybe slightly twisted, you will not be able to answer it. So reflect on the reason as to why you have failed and give yourself enough information. Now, the information is also useless if it is not followed by the last level of outcome, the feedback, or rather, the last level is the corrective. What do you need to do in order for you to not make the error again? So, if you see this, this completes it in the sense that if you've learned something and you test yourself, firstly, it gives you the opportunity to actively retrieve information, to use information that is in your brain. That helps with consolidation, which, by the way, is another pillar of effective learning. Then it also gives you information about the errors that you make. If you have made errors, it gives you an outcome. You have made errors, that's good. This is the errors and this is exactly why, and everything. And later you find the corrective feedback. Now, corrective feedback could actually be found with your teachers. You could ask. It could be found with a book. It could be found with a YouTube video. So it's you now going to search for information to actually find the best way to do things that you did not know at first. So this is a very good way to actually test yourself. And if you can do this consistently, you will discover that you would have covered a lot of knowledge gaps. You would have corrected a lot of misconceptions about the things that you learn, that when you're given now an opportunity to be tested by your examiner to test your level of competence, you would actually be able to perform at a level that is acceptable for them. So the summary of the whole video is that change your relationship with exams and tests. They are not necessarily a bad thing. They might have given you trauma in the past because you are given an F, or you are given a D, or you are given anything that you did not like. They can change that relationship and make testing and examining yourself a consistent and regular part of your studying sessions, where you test yourself the way you would be tested under actual circumstances. And actually, this could be used even for non-academic things. Instead of just, learning and reading about everything, you can actually get into the activity or the skill that you would like to do and make the errors, and so that you can use that feedback in order for you to be able to make the corrections, so that at the end of the day, you have the right mental models of the information that you have, and you have those sticking in your head so that you can use them even after a prolonged period of time after your learning time. Alright guys, I hope this was very helpful for you, and I hope you're going to be incorporating testing and examining yourself as you are learning and as you are studying. And if you would like to learn more about this, if you would like to have a step-by-step guidance exactly about how to go about this, then you can check the description box or the caption. If you're watching this on Facebook, it is going to have links. Depending on the time that you watch this, it may be a waiting list to the Optimal Learning Skills course, which I'm currently developing, or it may actually be the link to the course if it is already launched. So you can feel free to check those out and see if that is something that may interest you. Remember to share this video to your friend and comment down in the comment section below. I would like to hear your views. See you next time.